slavery by his brothers, taken down to Egypt, became a slave only to rise to the very top and save the rest of his family, his tribe, and bring them to prominence down in Egypt before the final Exodus.
Joseph's predecessors, Jacob, Isaac, Abraham, all married women about whom we know a great deal. And it's inconceivable to the reader of the Bible that Joseph all of a sudden goes and marries somebody about whom we know nothing. And so it almost seems to demand that there be a backstory here so that we can understand who this woman is and why she deserves to marry Joseph.
One of the things we find in biblical narratives is that they're often very terse, very short. Now, often behind those terse stories, there are legends that are circulating.
What led to this unorthodox marriage? Who was this non-believer who would help found a Jewish dynasty? These questions are answered in an ancient text called Joseph and Asenath. But no one is sure exactly when it was written or by whom. Some theories place its origin in the 1st century BC in Alexandria, Egypt, a city known for its library and population of scholarly Jews. In form, it resembles a midrash, a sacred document written to explain issues left dangling in the Bible, one that may have evolved from an older oral tradition.
People expand on these stories often because there's something problematic in it. Joseph, when he marries a daughter of an Egyptian priest, that's going to send up a red flag for a lot of people for whom they're wondering how is this sort of intermarriage possible between a Hebrew and a daughter of not just an Egyptian, but an Egyptian priest. So one of the reasons that people might tell a story like this is to explain how it is that happened, and they might add details and shadings that make the story more palatable to them.
The text of Joseph and Asenath begins in Heliopolis, the Egyptian city of the sun, where Joseph has been sent to collect corn for storage during a time of plenty. It is here he meets a priest named Pentaphrase. And Pentaphrase had a virgin daughter of about 18 years of age, more beautiful than any other virgin in the land. Asenath has rejected many suitors, including Pharaoh's own son. Finally, Pharaoh decrees that she will become Joseph's wife as a reward for his loyal service. But for Joseph, bound by his religious traditions, it would have been an impossible gift to accept, even at Pharaoh's command.
She is both hereditary royalty and also sort of biological royalty. That is, she's beautiful and intelligent, and she's also a princess. So all those things together, she's only missing one component. She just needs to be a Jew.
But at first, it is Asenath who balks at the match.
From Asenath's standpoint, why would she accept an Israelite? Here's a man who is a foreigner, a fugitive, a former slave. She doesn't want to accept Joseph until, of course, she meets him face to face.
She's sitting at her window, she looks out, and she sees a handsome young man, and she falls madly in love. And so she is now madly in love with Joseph, her betrothed. She goes down to meet him, and Joseph's response is, I can't kiss you, I can't marry you. You worship idols, and I worship the true God. So Asenath is now deeply, deeply distressed.
She took sackcloth and sprinkled herself with ashes and wept bitterly. And lo, the ashes underneath her were like mud because of her tears. For 7 days, Asenath meditates and finally prays to the God of Joseph. In response, God sends an archangel to her, who appears to her bathed in fire, but assuming Joseph's pleasing form. What follows is a mysterious ritual that does not appear anywhere else in either Jewish or Christian traditions.
He has her eat from a honeycomb that she finds magically in her room. And these bees arise out of the honeycomb and encircle her.
And the bees came up from the cells of the comb and all flew in circles round Asenath, from her feet right up to her head. And yet more bees settled on Asenath's lips.
And they build a honeycomb on her lips. They purify her lips that were once lips that offer praise to dead idols.
Honey and like nectar is a traditional food of the gods, the milk of paradise. And this idea that honey is fed to her is an idea of immortality and greatness that runs throughout mythology. There is also seemingly a sexual image to the honeycomb. Whether that's the primary intention of the text or not is unclear, but it certainly is alive, I think, in the story of the two of them coming together.
Now purified, Joseph can take Asenath for his own. She has been converted into